Big Boar BBQ presents Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG-TV with Dan the Voice Diker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Reichert. Brought to you by Big Boar BBQ, Highway 16 West Salem. Big Boar BBQ, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome in, folks. Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG-TV, Radio Man Dan Dyke, along with Billy Doc Niles. You know, we're at the mid-season point of the races, Billy, where everyone's seen our replays of La Crosse. They've seen the replays of Toma. There's always that one time of the year, like we just kind of like to step away from the racetrack. We kind of bring the racetrack to Big Boar BBQ, the title sponsor again of the show for, goodness gracious, 6-7 years now. And just have some conversations with some drivers and have a conversation with the man himself.
Yeah, we got a couple of cars out here today. We're going to be talking with the Schaller crew today about that beautiful 24 car they built over the winter. And we got this guy right here, Mr. Big Boar himself, Jerry Beyer. Jerry, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it.
Tell you, we've been lucky here one year. Come out, rained, had to quit it real quick. We did it inside. 2 years ago, it was just gorgeous. The whole street was just lined full of cars. When we got out of here about 9 last year, now things just kind of happened. We couldn't do it. So it's like every other year we're hit and miss.
Well, let's just keep going for that. Maybe better, but no worse.
Well, the rain is gone now. I mean, it's just cloudy right now. I don't think there's any rain in the forecast.
Got people eating
Yeah,
good barbecue all out here on the patio.
I am mouth watering. I'll get it
It's
right
that
again.
bad.
Yep.
It's that bad.
There's a check mark when I get back to the studio.
First and foremost, again, you were voted the best caterer and best barbecue in the area. You guys can applaud.
Yeah, you can applaud that.
I think it's outstanding.
7 years
Is
in a
it
row.
7 years in a row? How does that make you feel?
We're pretty honored. We really appreciate everyone that votes. You know, we have opportunities to advertise for that thing, and we don't do it. We figure it's a little more honest this way, and very proud that we got it.
You know, one thing I heard, I think I heard it on the radio actually today. You got a deal now where people can get some food and use it as a fundraiser.
You bet. We do a lot of fundraisers, similar to a chicken queue. You know, they're good. We're something different, and we bring the food. We charge so much. They charge more. They usually make about $3 a meal.
You know, I remember driving on Highway 16 years ago when this building was not here. All of a sudden, a trailer popped up here. I'm like, hey, look, a little barbecue joint. Then the building, then the downtown, then the north side. Here we are 7-8 years later. Did you ever figure that you were going to reach a plateau this high with this business, with you and the lovely wife?
No, we were looking for a little bit of a sideline in retirement, and something went wrong.
You took a bad left turn. Did you get the racing pun there?
Yeah, I caught that, yeah. One thing, 2 years ago when we were here, you introduced your version of broasted chicken. That was phenomenal when you let us try it. How's that been selling? How's that been doing?
That's been selling really well, really well. I had someone this morning tell me it's better than this one military guy's chicken. He thought it was pretty good.
You know, we got 4 more segments to tape. I'm done now. I'm going in to eat.
Well, he asked me if I want to feel up before taping or afterwards, and well, knowing me, I'm going to do it afterwards because I had to be belching all the way for the next 45 minutes. We can't have that.
You wanted to get hungry so you could eat more.
This is true. I'm watching what's happening out here, and you got a nice collection of everything out here. You know, every time I DJ a wedding, I'm on a lot of social media sites. I recommend you left and right. Weddings are something you love to do, but that's not the only thing you cater. You guys have really branched out.
Yeah, we do a lot of corporate catering, you know, for retirement parties, employee appreciation parties, customer appreciation parties.
End of summer bashes for local radio stations.
Absolutely. You know, if there's a good reason to eat, we'll cater it.
And again, that's Big Boar BBQ here in West Salem. Talk about, we love doing this. Rick Wilson, I had an idea several years ago. Hey, you guys do a car show every first and third Wednesday of the month. Why don't we just bring the show out here during the car show? How did you get associated with 608 Piston Pounders?
Well, I like cars, and they hung out here a little bit, and we just kind of really mixed well. And this isn't their official spot, but it's their hottest spot.
And you guys have been associated with each other for quite a many years now, at least, 3, 4, 5 years?
Oh, yeah. And I'm really proud to be associated with them. They don't put money into anything except helping people that need help.
I'm wondering why there ain't any collector plates on this minivan sitting right here.
That one must have snuck in there. It'll be a collector someday.
We could use it to race on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Now we found the owner.
Well, that's what I'd like to know what this this Corvette can do on the action track quarter mile, Billy Doc Niles. Think it can do anything? Is that bottom out left and right?
I don't know if we were doing spectator drags. I think it'd hold its own.
So again, with the car shows, of course, we get the real big one coming up here in August that I've DJ'd. Well, I think it'll be 3 times now, and it's such a big event out there. And I want to say a couple of years ago, you brought the food trailer out there, and people were like, "Goodness gracious, barbecues and old cars, man, does that go together?"
Yeah, well, the food trailer's gone. We're not doing that anymore.
What?
But if you talk nice to me, I might save your life again. I remember how hot and sunny it was.
Oh, you brought the blue tent over.
You were standing out there like this in the sun.
You know, funny story, I moved out of Sparta, and we moved to West Salem a year and a half ago. As we're cleaning the attic out in the garage, I found a brand new one that I don't think was mine, but it sure went with me, so I have my own tent this year. Nice blue-covered one. Yeah, Jerry saw me suffering right in the middle of the Crosse Speedway campgrounds, and man, it was hot.
Jerry, talk about some of the great specials you got going on here at Big Boar.
Well, tonight we can get chicken wings, roasted chicken, and of course we've got awesome ribs, pulled pork, brisket, anything you want. Yeah, anything in the barbecue world, hamburgers. Yeah.
See, now Blaine's got it right, because we were out here 3 years ago, and after you stuffed us with a couple of family trays, you said, "Hey, Diker, we've got a new burger we want you to try." And I will admit, it took me down. I got 3/4 of the way through, and I was done, and man, that was good.
Yeah, he still had a half a leg to fill up yet. Nice call.
Yeah, Blaine's our burger aficionado. He keeps threatening to eat something else, but he has a burger every time.
So you got your regular house specials all the time. The hamburger was something you came up with a couple years ago, then the roasted chicken. Are you looking for new ideas, or does the community and the people you cater to like just what you have now?
We're pretty happy with what we have right now. You try not to make the menu too big and complicated, but one thing we don't have at the moment, we may bring back this fall if prices settle out a little bit, is prime rib. We still have a prime rib sandwich, but we used to do a prime rib on Saturday night, and we may bring that back this fall.
And of course, folks, you got to come on and ask for the Diker burnt ends, because that is a basket of joy.
Is that what
right
it says
there.
up on the board there?
Yeah, it does. It says Diker right above.
Diker burnt ends, and it's a basket of joy.
And it's an empty basket is probably what it is.
Somebody get in there with a marker, quick.
I want to thank Jerry for his continued support of the TV show. And anytime you guys need a caterer, you need something, even just a couple's night out to get something to eat, right here in West Salem off of Highway 16, it's Big Boar BBQ. Jerry, appreciate the continued support. You're a great fix to the program, and we will see you at the car shows this year.
Well, we thank you guys. We appreciate all you being here. We appreciate the Schaller team being here with number 24. That's pretty awesome.
Schaller team is going to be up next to talk about that Burgers Moonlight Motorsports number 24 next on Seven Rivers Racing.
Are you tired of the typical fundraiser? Well, Big Boar BBQ can offer you an alternative. How about a pork dinner? Pork, beans, and slaw. A complete meal. It's different, it's fast, and it's easy. And you don't pay for what you don't sell, guaranteeing you make a profit. So if your church, school, sports team, or special cause needs a fundraiser, call us today. We've helped all sorts of groups raise thousands of dollars. Big Boar BBQ, Highway 16, West Salem. Now that's a mouthful.
At Big Boar BBQ.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that really actually matter. Like figuring out which remote turns the TV on, or the smell in the vegetable crisper that in no way can be vegetables, or finding your phone when you leave it on vibrate. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Racing KQEG TV, live on location at Big Boar BBQ, our title sponsor now for 7 great seasons.
I think, yeah, TV show, radio show, correlation there. 7 years voted best in lacrosse. Yeah,
it's
we
that
did
radio
that. We
karma.
did
You
that,
come on
yeah.
the show and you win.
We did
Well, see,
that.
now Jamie Dummer's not here, so had Jamie been here to talk about the 24, he would have sure won. Well, he's off this week, so he's got 2 weeks.
We got the car owners here. That's all that counts.
It's all that counts. Something that's really been cool that we watched transpire for the past several months before, about 3 races ago, was the number 24 Burgers Moonlight Motorsports Dow Automotive Sportsman. It was a former Dummer car. It was there when I first started 15 years ago. Jason Schaller bought it, was going to run it this year. ALS has stricken a very good friend of the program, very good friend of mine and yours. And Lance Berger, who's been tons of friends with this guy for many, many years, said, you know, that car's just not going to sit there. And we thought we'd bring on the entire family. Jesse's going to get some great B-roll of what this car looks like. Jamie Dummer's been in it twice so far. Dr. Noyes, Billy Martin's been in it. And I tell you what a testament to show not only the love you've got for Jason, but the love you guys have for racing.
Yeah, racing is it's a huge family, and bringing this car back out, you know, Jason bought it, and you know he was super excited to race this car. And well, we know what happened, and it wasn't going to sit. He's going to be there with us, and we're going to race.
And this just wasn't, I mean, I watch your Facebook. Goodness, you're putting old-time cars and trucks and everything together on a constant basis. I used to call you the king of the internet when it came to auto parts because people would tag him on a constant basis when they were looking for parts. This wasn't just something you did by yourself. That car took a lot of time, took a lot of money, took a lot of parts.
And a lot of help.
A lot of help, and you know there was people behind it that supported it, whether it was moral support, money support, coming up to the shop and helping with hands, and obviously keeping the secret, you know, because we revealed this car to him on Memorial Day weekend. He had no clue it was coming until the noise showed up.
I saw you cry too there, Jason. You tried to keep it in, buddy, but yeah, there were some tears.
Blame your mother. She took the sunglasses off.
And you know, Joanne, who was Jason's mother, which I've known for many, many years, that day that you guys released this car, the tears were not just coming from him. That was one emotional driveway and garage.
It was hard. I don't think there was a dry eye in our driveway.
How much were you involved in knowing what was going on, or were you surprised just like Jason was?
I was involved because I made a lot of food for that get-together. The desserts I did not make, but as far as the rest of the food, yeah, it was really hard. And to see him and then come back around and look at everybody else, it was even hard to say thank you to everybody.
Talk about that first night, because I was watching your whole entourage, which is now growing in the grandstands. Talk about that first emotional night when Jamie Dummer, who's been a longtime friend of your family, finally brings that car out.
OMG! I could not sit in the stands. It was very hard. And to see everybody out there and watch Jamie in that car, it was like tearjerker time again all over. It was like seeing it for the first time again out there on the track.
It does look better than his El Caminos, though. You got to give that much credit.
Yeah, seeing that compared to what my yard used to look like, oh my gosh.
See, that was the running joke is when I used to run the hotel over there, I would go on the exit and then off the exit and look right into his backyard. And for the past 5 or 6 years, okay, what are you building now? What are you building now? I said, I always tell him, you got enough car parts in your yard, you could build 7 different race cars.
Yeah. It looked like a junkyard out in the backyard, but that's all right. He did it and he enjoyed it. So you got to let him go and do what he wanted to do.
Now, who's this guy over here?
Kevin Burr, longtime friend of Jason's. I met him, Jace, 21 years ago now?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Racing with him, we used to race against each other, then we became teammates. Then when I got hurt at the track, I just started helping him.
How does it feel to know that you can look across in the parking lot and see that completed race car sitting right there?
Cool. Different. It's a lot of work went into it.
Talk about the process. I mean, you guys, you know, you basically stripped this right down to nothing and came frame up.
Yeah, pretty much. When Lance talked to me about what he wanted to do, I'm like, you just tell me what to do, I'll be there to help. So it was Lance's idea. He pretty much told us what we needed to do, and organized everything, and we just came up and helped.
You know, talking with some of the guys that helped around this, one of the driving forces or the thoughts behind this was Jason would stop and help anybody anytime he could, to the point where he would ignore his own car, and those paint jobs would tell the story. And this was like a labor of love for you guys to put this out on the track for him.
Yes, he did that year in and year out for as long as I've known him. I mean, there was times where my car would be sitting on a trailer, and he'd be over helping me on my car when his car was sitting in the backyard that needed a ton of work to his, and we'd hurry up and get mine done. By the time we got mine done, it was no working on his. He'd just take it out and put it on the truck the way it was.
So, Lance, talk about, I know you guys are picking and choosing the schedule, and you don't plan on running hard, go at it every single weekend. If you can, you can. Talk about the driver selection, because I think having Jamie Dummer was ideal, because, again, he was racing that car when I started 15 years ago at La Crosse. Dr. Noyes Billy Martin went to school with Jason, and then they became lifelong friends. So when we talked to him at the racetrack, he was hiding back tears to talk about what it was like to be able to power that car. Talk about the driver selection. Will there be any more, or are you guys content with who you have?
There'll be one more. It'll be released eventually.
This guy's just the king of secrets over here.
July 17th, we will be running 2 divisions. We're going to run Sportsman's, and we are running Vintage with it.
Nice.
So, and there will be a new driver for July 17th to drive the car then.
So you're finally going to get behind the wheel and race?
I'm not.
Come on, give it.
Did you see the car?
Give us
the car
a
looks
hint.
really nice right now, so I really don't want to drive it.
Give us a hint.
And
Oh, no hints. Okay.
first night out, Jamie wins the heat race, and you should have seen. I'm not sure if you were there that night or
No,
not.
I wasn't, but I watched. You could see the gathering in Victory Lane.
Man,
and
did
that was
the
impressive.
grandstands just blow up. Did you guys expect Jamie to go out and win? I mean, obviously you're doing this on behalf of Jason. Talk about him going out there and actually winning the heat race.
That was definitely an added bonus. It was not an expected bonus. We're out there for smiles and memories is what we're out there for. And Victory Lane is only a plus, and that was a huge, huge plus to go out there first race. Jamie had never drove that car up until that night.
Yep.
That was Jason Dummer's car, and Jamie had never sat in that car up until that night. So to come out with a victory that way, the feature race, well, we made it through it, but we had some issues, and we made it back the next week. But to make that first victory right away, that was a huge thing.
Real quick, as we got to wrap up the segment, talk about some of the sponsors. I know obviously you've had a ton of help to get that car where it is today. Talk about some of those that you'd like to thank.
Well, Dell Automotive jumped on board here. That's a huge thing. Ken's Auto, he did the painting and organized the lettering, and the Eckelberg family with doing all the lettering and constantly adding lettering to it as we go on here. KO Design Customs, he jumped on board here right at the beginning of our season, and of course Berger's Moonlight Motorsports. That's my garage.
Which it's no longer. What was the former?
Midnight Auto was the former, but there was.
We got to scratch Midnight Auto, Paul.
Then Terry's Garage. That's Jason's dad, and always been the main supporter of that car and getting him out there on the track consistently. So that. In the paint scheme, that is one of his favorites, the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Paint scheme. So CTS Race Cars, they jumped on board getting some parts and helping us out. And Two Twisted Racing, he helped out with getting that hood that's on that car. It's he got it shipped to me for pennies on the dollar, basically. So that was a pretty nice, sweet deal. So. Chloe, I mean, we want to remember Chloe, the Eckelberg's daughter, and Dr. Noyes, he's on there, making sure I don't forget anybody here.
You can't walk around the car right now. You got to go. Jonathan Eckelberg will be proud of you if you get them all.
I'm thinking, Racing for Jason, number 24. Follow that Facebook page. We'll keep all of our updates on that page. Always looking for help whenever too. So, contact me through that page, and we can certainly always use the help.
We're going to have Jesse Walker on the car, too, so anybody you forgot, we're going to make sure that we've got him on the car. This is racing for Jason, the number 24. Jesse's going to get some good video with us. Be back at the Crosse Speedway here in a couple of weeks. Can't wait to watch him rumble with the Upper Midwest Vintage Racing Series. I want to thank these folks for coming on. It means a lot to me since I've known them for quite a long time, and it's good to see Jason back again. More to come next from Big Boar BBQ on 7 Rivers Racing.
7 years and counting. Hi, Jerry here. For 7 years in a row, Big Boar BBQ has been voted the best barbecue and caterer by the people of La Crosse County. I am humbled by your praise. We work our hardest to provide good food and service to any size group, from a small lunch to large wedding reception. We can provide full service or just drop off the food for you to serve. But dates are filling fast, so call us today. Big Boar BBQ and Catering, Highway 16, West Salem. A delicious mouthful.
Big Boar BBQ.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that really actually matter. Like figuring out which remote turns the TV on, or the smell in the vegetable crisper that in no way can be vegetables, or finding your phone when you leave it on vibrate. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Welcome back, race fans. Summer Racing KQEG TV from Big Boar BBQ, our title sponsor now for 7 years, and Billy nailed it. He's been on the show for 7 years. He's been the headline sponsor for 7 years, and all of a sudden voted the best barbecue and best caterer for the past 7 years.
Coincidence? I think not.
No. Now, you know, Paul's with us this time, and we did not allow you to have an ear of corn.
No ears of corn, dude.
We're not going to bring that up, any of that again.
But it was tasty, wasn't it?
It was good corn.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Now, are you going to have some corn when we go in and sample the restaurant later this evening?
No, I'd rather get some pulled pork or brisket,
Jesse
or maybe some of the chicken.
Jesse will probably B-roll him while he's eating. We're watching it right now for all we know, yeah.
People don't want to see me. They don't want to see Diker Jr. anywhere near a plate. We saw it the first time we taped in here. Coming up at the Crosse Speedway on July 14th, part of the fair. It's a Wednesday night race, and it'll be the second time in 20 years that the CWRA is going to be back to race again. They were there last year and had a fantastic run. Not only did the 16 or 17 traveling guys come in, I remember Nick Clements was a part of that. Steve Carlson was a part of that.
Matt Henderson. With his second overall in the standings. So that was a good show.
Yeah, Jesse Potzik won one of the races.
Yeah. So coming back again this year, they're going to be here Wednesday, July 14th. Racing Rob Christen, longtime late model driver, is going to join us, and he is going to, or has been racing with the CWRA, and we wish we could have had his car here today. I think Andrew Morrissey's still putting some tweaks on the motor for you.
Putting some fine tweaks on her from the Oktoberfest bang. We kind of banged her up for Oktoberfest, but
Tell me, did you get a new helmet since Oktoberfest?
I did get a new helmet. They said there was a slight scratch in that one.
Can't imagine where that came from.
I'll tell you, looking on social media when Rob finally released what that rocket ship looks like, I tell you what, you couldn't have picked a better batch of vinyl, man. That thing looks gorgeous.
Yeah, the Mergic did an awesome job with that. It was I kind of gave him an idea, and he took it from there, what I was looking for, and it turned out really nice. It looks nice.
So it's not an Evans tribute now. It's a Rob Christen original.
Well, I still have the Evans as a different car.
Okay.
You know this car very well,
yeah.
so it's been changed a little bit since the Elder had it, but it's a nice piece now.
Yeah, nice piece now.
Yeah. Elder?
Now.
I won with that car.
And, Paul, you had brought up something the other day when you saw him put that on Facebook when he finally brought it out. You saw another car in his garage still that looked kind of familiar.
Yeah. Tell us about that, Rob.
That's the Evans tribute.
That's the Evans tribute, yeah.
That's the Rander car.
Yeah.
That was Todd Korsh's championship car.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and I thought, I know Garrett Evans won a Northwest Super Late Model race a couple months ago. I thought, oh, Rob made a trip to Washington and won a race.
I want to know when Garrett Evans is going to have a Rob Christen tribute car.
That's coming.
He's like Lance Berger. Secrets are going to go way back here.
So talk about CWRA coming back to lacrosse, because I know you just like myself, we go back a long ways at this track. It's kind of historic, you would say, to have CWRA on a Wednesday night at lacrosse.
Yeah, that's the way it was for the people that go way back. Wednesday night racing was lacrosse's way when Larry Weirs ran the track. And this is the honor. This race is the honor of the Weirs and the Weirs family. They've been standing by short track racing for as long as I can ever remember. And CWRA and Crosse Speedway Wednesday night kick off the fair. It's 57 years of great racing from CWRA. So I wanted to just help keep it going.
It's funny. Last year we were wondering. You and I talked before the race in the pits, and you said, "Well, tell me, you were telling me about CWRA, and we were talking about the compound of the tires and how hard it is." And then we were watching the local guys that jumped on board to race that race. And you said, "Man, I tell you what, that really made your night, whether you win or not, to watch the other lacrosse late models that jumped in that race." It was 2 races last year and then 2 this year.
Yep. Yeah, that was pretty cool, because a lot of these are the guys that I came up, started my late model career with a couple of years ago with, and then see them guys race. And they're racing against super late models, but our tire is a little bit different than anywhere else. Our tire is a little harder. We don't buy a lot of them, but we put on some great racing.
And that was the big comment Steve Carlson had last year when we were talking to him after the race. He said, "Man, I tell you what, I haven't raced on hard tires like this in years."
And that's one thing I wanted to bring up. I believe it's the old Tull City recap, isn't it?
Yep, it's the Tull City recap. Actually, when lacrosse late models get done with their tires, I collect them, we ship them down to North Carolina, have a cap put on them, and then we use them again.
I exaggerate to clarify, but those Tull City recaps are about as hard as this concrete right here, and they wear just about as much too.
Yes, they do.
Yep. See, we don't have to buy a lot of them. It's you got to set your car up and you got to drive accordingly, but it puts on some great racing.
So now, what's the reason behind that? Because otherwise, this is a true full-blown super late model that we would see at Oktoberfest that everyone sees every year. What is it about the tires that makes this the history so rich?
Well, see, back in the day when Tom Reffner, Dick Trickle would race, them guys didn't have a lot of money. So they needed a tire to last them.
With repeatability on it.
Because they race 5 nights a week. So here
Right.
you go. Now you got a tire, you can do that. You can practice on this tire, you can race on this tire, and you can buy 6, 7 tires for the season. Some super late model races, they do that in a day.
So now you've raced out there for many, 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 many years. You're one of the guys that we think would have the slight advantage of winning a race or one of the 2 races. But the tire, it doesn't matter. How many laps you put, even Steve Carlson said the same thing. Man, I could come out here and put 10 million miles. You put those tires on, your whole setup's different.
Yeah, everything changes when you put these tires on. That's what makes a lacrosse late model really competitive to race against a super late. It's because the tire it's hard. It's a very hard tire, and you got to drive it. So the good drivers that we have at lacrosse here are very competitive.
Yeah, and one thing about that tire, you said you can run tons and tons of laps on it. You're not going to wear it down. I mean, I can remember the days when we had them as late models. You didn't get the marbles up and turn in the turns like you do with the tires that wear out. So they wear like iron. And you're not going to set any track records with them, but you're going to be able to race all season on them.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. And you want to see 2x2 racing, this tire is able to do it.
Okay, Rob, we only got about a minute left in the segment here. Talk about some of the advertising partners getting you through the 2021 season.
Well, we got to foremost thank Weirs Machine. Weirs is what brought this racing back to lacrosse. So I want to big shout out to Weirs Machine. Don's Truck and Auto Center up in Toma, they're 100% behind us, and so I like to put a big shout out to Don's Truck and Auto Center. If you need a car, go see Don. It's a great place to get a car.
All right, before we go.
And of course, he's wearing the J-No collectible
Yeah,
shirts.
of course, yeah.
Jamie Hurd's going to love that.
Yeah, and we also got to thank our other sponsors for the show, Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, fansarena.com, and of course, Epic Vinyl and Media for this really cool sign. Thank you all for helping us out in 2021.
And of course, Big Boar BBQ again, CWRA. Can't wait to see Racing Rob back out in that flashy-looking late model or super late model. That's coming up on Wednesday, the 14th. Is it 20 lappers or 25?
2 25-lap features.
2 25-lap lineup features. Make sure you go to lacrossespeedway.com. You can get your advanced tickets there. I want to thank everybody that came on the program today. I want to thank your support of watching Seven Rivers Racing on behalf of Doc and Paul and Jesse, who's sitting back there just craving some burnt ends.
Yeah.
I'm Radio
We
Man
got to do
Dan.
one more interview for next week's show. Yeah.
We do. I'm Dan Dyke, and thank you for joining us on Seven Rivers Racing.
You've been watching Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Dyker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Reichert. Brought to you by Big Boar BBQ, Highway 16 West Salem. Big Boar BBQ. Now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. Thanks for watching Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.
Are you tired of the typical fundraiser? Well, Big Boar BBQ can offer you an alternative. How about a pork dinner? Pork, beans, and slaw. A complete meal. It's different, it's fast, and it's easy. And you don't pay for what you don't sell, guaranteeing you make a profit. So if your church, school, sports team, or special cause needs a fundraiser, call us today. We've helped all sorts of groups raise thousands of dollars. Big Boar BBQ, Highway 16 West Salem. Now that's a mouthful.
At Big Boar BBQ.